Today we're going to talk about something that I really wish we didn't have to talk about, but we do. Abusive relationships. If you haven't experienced it, if you're on the outside looking in, it seems kind of like the simplest equation ever. It's like a guy's violent with you or verbally or physically, you're out of there, obviously. Like, almost like, how is this even a question? You know, like once you see that, you're gone. Like Chris Brown and Rihanna, like when they got back together, it was like, what? Like, what? And then it happened to me. And I get it. It's like when you are with someone who you think you know so deeply and so completely, and then they reveal this self that you have never seen, that you could never even conceptualize. There's no way you can't feel responsible for bringing that monster out. You think, oh my God, what did I do? What did I say to turn this wonderful, sweet, loving person who I thought I knew into this psychopath who is just a monster, a black-eyed monster? And they, of course, are telling you this. Look what you made me do. Look what you said. Look what you did. And so you're like, this is my fault. And it's not. Anyway. It's also hard to not want to fix them. Because it's like, even if you know, like, you get a little distance from something and you're like, okay, this wasn't my fault. But you are still, like, so horrified with what happened and what this person became that you're like, he's sick. Like, he needs help. I have to help him. It's like that line in that Rihanna song, like, funny, you're the broken one, but I'm the only one that needed saving. When I heard that, I was like, yes. For me, it was my high school boyfriend. Like, recently, not when we were in high school. We got back together, and he called me a cunt one night in front of his business associates at a business dinner. No one's ever called me that. Guy, girl, nobody. Let alone someone I was in love with, who was in love with me. And I shot back with, you want to get mean? Let's get mean. You're short and you're balding. And he lost his mind. He threw his drink on the ground, stormed out, back up to the hotel room. I followed him. He had me by the hair, threw me on the ground, was on top of me, choking me, slamming my head. I'm going to kill you. How dare you say something like that to me? And the next day we went to dinner. Partly because I was so afraid of him, I didn't want to provoke him again. And partly because I couldn't even dream that he could be that person. I'd known him half my life. I knew him better than he knew himself. So I must have done this. And then I got a little bit of distance, and I was like, no, I didn't. And actually what snapped me out of it was talking to my friend who worked with battered women, and he's like, do you have any idea how much I hear that? I provoked him. I turned him into this. I need to fix him. And that's when I was like, okay, if this is what all of us women are saying, then we're not all crazy. We all didn't do this. It's them. And it's them. But I did a lot of self-reflecting after that. I'm like, he's out of my life. I never talked to him after that weekend. It was an ugly, messy split, though, obviously. But I think it's important when something goes so left that you really examine your role in it. Not like you deserve it at all. No one deserves violence. That is the coward's refuge. Violence is for people who are too stupid and too out of touch with their emotions to express themselves in any other way. That's how a child or an animal acts, okay? Grown adults don't act like that, certainly not towards women. Men are here to protect women. Quality men know that. But I realized, I'm like, in a way, what did I expect? I shot back with something very mean, designed to do one thing, hurt him. I didn't expect this crazy bananas reaction. I didn't deserve that reaction. But I knew what I was doing was going to hurt. At the baseline, it was going to be bad. And that is certainly not every woman's experience, and I'm not saying that I deserved it, but I think I had a hand in provoking what went on. And I think when any situation that you're not happy with occurs in your life, you owe it to yourself to do a little self-reflection and self-examination and say, how am I contributing to this unhappy outcome in my own life? Am I choosing people who are chronically abusive and just choosing to ignore the red flags, the patterns that I know I've seen before, choosing to think that a different outcome is going to happen? Am I provoking someone who might be a little unhinged? Am I sticking around a little too long? Am I making excuses for someone? Am I making excuses for my own behavior? The unexamined life is not worth living. And in situations with men who are always going to be stronger than us, always going to have more power, always going to have the advantage in society, not examining your role in an abusive situation is dangerous, and it can be lethal. And we have to just be smart. It doesn't mean we blame ourselves. It doesn't mean we deserve it. It means that we have to look out for ourselves, and first and foremost, looking out for your behavior and your emotion, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Nor can you change a violent person. You move on from this by really looking at how your life brought you here and how your decisions brought you to this person and this situation, forgiving yourself for any missteps you might have made, and most importantly, cutting this person out of your life. A person like that will never change. They won't. You can't grow empathy, and to a large degree, it's very difficult to change behavior and to grow better communication patterns. And quite frankly, fuck them. If they can't learn how to communicate and not be violent, fuck them, fuck their mom, fuck whoever raised them. Strong women gotta stick together, and sometimes that means avoiding weak men.